number one for me. Being able to look around and find certain artists and find the right artists to make a great show. Because it's one thing inviting people to your show and attracting them to it, but it's another thing being able to make sure they come back. So, yeah.
So, okay, so let's say you've got 5 artists now. They've confirmed that they're going to be on the show. Everyone's happy. Still no venue, no graphics or no design, no flyers, not done any promotion. What's next? What do you do from there once you've got the artist?
Well, after that, for me, it was, I think we had a meeting with Vice because we were...
With Vice?
Yeah, because on Twitter at that time, we were bubbling in terms of our podcast.
And what year is this? This
is 2016, late 2016 actually.
Okay.
So we had a meeting with Vice and they basically said, this is very early on, they just said to us that we've seen what you've been doing in terms of like the radio and stuff. We want to, because obviously I told them that I want to do shows. And they basically said that we have certain venues, we can connect you to them. And Cameo London was one of them. And that's where it just started from there, pretty much. And went from there.
Wait, so how did the conversation with Vice even open
Someone
up?
on Twitter, I can't remember what her name is now, but she literally tweeted us, or DM'd, and said...
Oh, so they reached out to you?
Yeah, literally. And said, come down, and let's have a conversation. Remember, it was in Shoreditch, never forget it. Even at that time, I still didn't know what I was doing, at all.
That's crazy. I remember sometime I was still in uni, this must have been about 2015, and I wanted to do like a documentary. And I remember researching Vice and I'm thinking, alright, I'm going to find all the names of the people in Vice and just, I don't know, try and reach out to them and see if like we can work something out. Obviously I didn't know what I was doing, but I think the difference between me and you is that you had already created that step, that sub-step. You'd given them something to actually recognise you for, whereas in my perspective, I was just a random Tom, Dick and Harry going out.
Do you know the funny thing as well, you said literally about a year prior to that, I had just come out of uni, and the first thing I did was apply to Vice.
Okay, that's crazy.
I got rejected, like no one's business. So, do you know what? The frustration, it wasn't just Vice, it's many places. The frustration of constantly being rejected is ironically what organically made LD and RBS. Exactly. I stopped asking for respect and I started wanting to take it. And lo and behold, a year later, I get someone DMing us saying, can you come down to the same offices I tried to apply to work? So to me, that was a vessel of what it should be and what we should all learn from, literally. Like we need to, I always see constantly people, including myself, I did it, but we constantly ask for things. Like we always want someone to help. We gotta help ourselves. And I'm gonna say it again, we gotta help ourselves. Like literally, we need to, again, I keep on talking about value ourselves. When we walk into a room, we can't be going there waiting for someone to give us this or give us that. We got to walk in a room as a king or a queen, and that's it. You need to respect what I'm doing because you can only go online and you can see what I've done. So whether anybody's even listening to this podcast right now, I would say grind for a year. Give it even just 12 months of working hard, putting out content, doing whatever you got to do, up your value. And then next time you walk into any room, they'll be able to know exactly what you do before you even have to ask, literally.
And so within this time frame, were you taking any breaks? Did you ever stop at any time? So you were consistent.
Can you not see the tiredness in my face? I don't stop, literally. That's like one of my, you know what, I love watching people like Gary Vee and Diddy. Like when they talk about 25 hours in a day, I know what they're saying, literally. If you really want it, you're going to go past that point when you feel sick because you're tired. That's when I know you really want it. Like, a lot of people always talk about ideas. I always think to myself, when you get tired, I wonder if you're still going. That's what it is. It's that uncomfortable energy. If you like that uncomfortable energy to make it happen, then you're ready to make it happen. It's not all about fun. It is always about fun, actually. It is fun, but sometimes it don't feel fun. But if you keep on pushing, you'll get whatever you need to get. I don't believe luck is one thing, but forcing luck is another.
Do you know what? I feel like recently, especially like this week, I feel like I've had a lot of fun. But it's been different from the usual fun because I feel like the fun that I've had, and even this year, in fact, let's say this year, I feel like I've kind of earned the fun, if that makes sense. So I feel a lot better when I'm actually in the process of having fun,
right?
Because I know I've kind of worked for it. I know I know what I was doing the night before. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know how early I was up. I know how late I went to bed,
and
I know how like consistent I've been. So yeah, I think fun is important.
Definitely.
As well, because there's no point.
You gotta love what you do.
Yeah,
you gotta love what you do. 100%. You probably won't go any further if you don't love the element of interacting or whatever business that you're involved in. If you don't love it, I don't believe that you're gonna be up at 2 a.m. in the morning still working. So yeah, gotta love it.
So alright, the meeting with Vice. What exactly was the contents of the meeting, and what was being said?
They were just saying that they liked what we've been doing, even though at that point we were really just winging it. Like, we didn't really have that much of a plan. We just knew we wanted to put out content, and we were realizing that people were connecting. That became an addiction. Started to realize people connecting to the content, so keep on going. They was liking the attention we were getting, and it was, to them, it probably was a mini meeting, but to us it meant a lot. But they just invited us up to talk about the events and connecting us to certain events. And then they connected us to DICE, which made our Art Bridge creativity shows do, I guess, better, because they've been involved in all of the process of making them with cargo and all that.
So they helped you produce the footage? Or
no, we have control over all of that.
Okay.
But in terms of just being able to source out events for us and source out certain venues and stuff like that.
But again, what exact input did they have? Because I mean, they helped you find it, but they weren't necessarily. Were they sponsoring it? Were they paying for it?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's sick then.
Yeah.
Okay, so they helped you find the events. What about like things like marketing and actually creating a buzz around the event?
For me, again, it's just about relentlessness. If you... I feel like I'm giving away gems here. But it's just relentlessness. If you've got an event, I always say to everyone, especially these days, everyone sees a connectivity, so everyone wants to make an event. Everyone's seeing what this brand's doing, I want to make an event. But for me, it's one thing about content, and it's another thing about visibility. And if you can, again, push hard to make sure your stuff is visible everywhere, and don't stop doing that, then I guess you're going to be able to make something that people connect to. And I think that's what my ethos was. It was literally, make sure this is seen, this is something different. I guess the first event was a bit of a different ethos because it was the unknown. Whereas I knew that if people come just to one, they're going to come to another because they can see what we do. But the first time was just about visibility and showing that it was something different. Art Bridge creativity, and then having loads of artists up there. Yeah.
Alright, so that was the first event. Going into the second event, what did you take from the first event, and like what were the most important things that you had to take from the first event in terms of lessons and just tips?
Just had to tell myself that about 50 things go wrong.
Yeah.
On the night, literally, like 50 things will go wrong. You need to just be mindful of the fact that 50 things will go wrong and just navigate.
Do you have any examples of things that went wrong?
Oh, it's funny. To say the least. Yeah, it's everything. Sound man could do something. It's literally, I went this last show that happened, but it's just random stuff constantly. Anything can happen. I can't even pinpoint one thing because it could be anything. Yeah. Even the most mini thing, anything to do an event can happen. So preparing, knowing, 50 things could happen. That's the best way, literally.
That's sick. So you've done how many events now? 2?
Damn, no. Probably got about 10. Yeah. 4 Art Bridge creativities. Shades Live, which came out from the Shades tapes. No, 2 Shades.
What is that?
Shades is basically a tape that we put out. 2 projects.
Oh, that's the mixtape.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done 2 of them, and then we've done High Ground, 1 Mental Health. But yeah, we've done those, and we had like a little shows in between them. And then we had Summer Over Winter, we've had the 4 Art Bridge Creativities, and I think that's about it, yeah.
Which one of those would you say was the most difficult and most complex?
The most difficult?
Yeah. Which one came with the most challenges?
All of them. Literally. I would say nothing's different. It's the same thing. It's always the same challenges. Because at the end of the day, you want people to be there. You want people to also enjoy it. Ironically, I think people think that it's a thing to make these events. I think people think, oh, it's got to be this massive extravaganza. Like, it really hasn't got to be. It's really got to be what people go there for. A good time, music, and honesty. If you can translate that through people being on stage and everything like that, then you've got a great show.
So how important was, I know you spoke about Vice putting you onto a lot of people, but personally yourself, how important was networking and meeting other people?
Do you know what? It's so ironic because, you know, when we say even these names, like we started a conversation with even BBC, or we talked about Vice or Dice, I can't tell you, all of those names are perception, like literally. Like, I've been in the rooms, like they're all perception, literally. They're in all senses. I'm really emphasizing this. Yeah. It's perception, because the biggest thing that's happened is my element of what you just spoke about, networking. When I meet one person, I've connected. Do you know how much value there is in that than these other corporations giving you anything? It means so much more, because that's where the attention comes from. Ironically, attention actually comes from our peers. I have so many, you look at my phone right now, I have so many people that are creatives in my phone. We have an LDNRBS network full of 150 creatives just on WhatsApp. They just talk to each other, literally. That connectivity is so much stronger than anything else, literally. Every time I meet someone, every time I come to a podcast like this, I'll connect. I see you guys here. I'll connect with you guys. We'll talk. Anything happens in the future, I've got your number. We'll talk. Connection. Every time I'm around someone, we connect. We have radio. We've had so many people up. Because I think LDNRBS has a thing where anyone that knows the members are part of it, we're good people. We're all creators. We all are definitely about making things happen. And we can make things happen, but we're also good people. When we're at radio and we meet certain people, I think the fact that we can connect and we're not afraid to connect. We ain't too cool for school. Because of that is why I think we've grown so much. People think that we were given this, or we might have been given that. No, it's really because we had an ethos of being ourselves and connecting with people. I am the definition of someone that looks at even the London scene, especially when I started this LDNRBS thing, and I think to myself, there's way too many cool for school people.
Yeah.
You go into a show and then you got about 20 people. If you say you got 20 people there, you got 18 people that are looking at each other and look at each other, and they're also in the sense of they think that they're, I don't know what they think they are. Literally, they think that they are. They've got a certain hat on. I always got this thing about cool kids. And they take their pictures and then they'll tilt their head back and look at I don't get all of that. To me, even me, I don't look like them. I don't act like them. And I've always felt like I was kind of shunned because of that. I'm not trying to be a cool kid, I'm being myself. But I can also move faster than them. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, in terms of like moving faster, what is like your superpower? In terms of...
Damn, he said, what's my... I just came out watching Captain Marvel. They get me saying something crazy. Yeah.
What's your superpower in terms of being productive and just getting things done? Because like, I think especially our generation, there's so many reasons to procrastinate.
100%.
So many reasons.
I fall victim to it sometimes.
Yeah.
I do, but you've got to be focused. Like, I also say, draw on your frustrations. Ironically, that is what keeps me going sometimes. When I do get distracted, because everyone would be crazy if they said they don't get distracted sometimes, but drawing on your frustrations is a big thing. I know I only have to draw on certain people I know maybe not wanting me to do another event, or
and you have to use that as fuel.
100%. When it comes to even down to, not to feed on negative energy,
yeah,
but being aware of it. even down to the fact that, well, I'm thinking to myself, how come I wasn't able to just, I know I've always wanted to make film, why can't I just get this big boy camera right now and shoot this right now and put it in the whole world so the world can see it? Why has this person got a quick, easy gateway to that? Draw on those frustrations. At the end of the day, when it comes to certain people from certain areas, we are superheroes. This is a fact, literally. I'm not gonna just say just black people, but urban people are magic to me. Literally, coming from a certain area, maybe if you come from an area that's filled with poverty, you're magic for even making it out of them areas, or even just living in it. So, for me, when it comes down to it, it's all about just connectivity and not ever wanting to stop, and being inspired by the fact that we've seen something that a lot of people fall naive to, and we've been affected by it. And ironically, one of the biggest things in this world is we all sit there and we cry and we get connected to seeing people show art in a certain way. We are the art. People forget that a lot. Like, we are the actual art. We need to keep hold of that and keep on going. So yeah.